but glad you're able to do a little pit stop and spend some time with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I do want to speak with you about the Chinese diplomacy aiding the Palestinians, but before we get there, the hot news this morning here on the East Coast of the United States is what the Western press claims is deeper incursions into Russia by the Ukrainian military. Can you shed some light on this? How serious is this invasion of Russia by Ukraine? Is it a serious military setback for the Russians as the Western press is portraying it, or is it just a PR stunt for negotiating purposes concocted by the Ukrainians?
Essentially, Judge, it's a costly PR stunt. In the beginning, the public opinion in Russia, in Telegram channels, military channels, public opinion in general, people were stunned, of course. There was a lot of alarm. A lot of people were saying, no, now they are invading us, and Russia did absolutely nothing. The Minister of Defense did absolutely nothing. Well, it was very easy to invade that part of the border because the border is protected basically by guards, by police, by Guardia, Russia, and local police. So it's very easy to cross. Obviously, the Russians knew that this would happen. They have the best electronic surveillance system anywhere. So it took us a while to understand where this was going. And after, 6 days or so, they let it happen. They knew that troops were being diverted from Donbass to that border to cross all the way to the Kursk nuclear power station. They let it happen. And of course, there was a tremendous loss of face involved in all that. But this was the price that had to be paid for organizing a trap for the Ukrainians. And after 6 days, it's absolutely clear that this is a trap. And the commanders at the front, the best commanders, were annihilated in a matter of a day or two. The Russians started to attack the rear. And now everybody that is in the middle is being more or less encircled, and they will be dealt in a counter-terrorist operation mode. That is, take no prisoners.
So is it fair to say that the Kiev invaders are now surrounded by Russian troops?
Essentially, this is according to the best information from military correspondents on the ground. The Russian Minister of Defense is a much more complicated situation because there is, let's call it what it is. There is military censorship. Certain issues are considered state secrets. They are not available to independent observers, or not even to military correspondents. And they are slow. They're usually very, very slow compared to what's happening on the ground. But after a few days and after people start to put together the pieces of the puzzle in terms of what kind of brigades were advancing, how many, etc. Okay, it is serious in a sense because they advanced roughly 12 kilometers inside Kursk and 40 kilometers wide. But it's a relatively small area. It's nothing. It's smaller than the city of Lisbon, just to give an idea to all of you.
Did this damage President Putin politically?
Yes, it does, in a sense that the Minister of Defense was caught napping. Let's go straight to the point. How deep the problem is, how much aligned it is with corruption inside a few silos inside the Ministry of Defense, nobody knows for the moment. But I'm sure there's going to be an extra purge after the situation is settled, let's say in the next few weeks or so. This is very complicated because the Minister of Defense was totally focused on the way the 1,000-kilometer long front line in Donbass is collapsing. And they were not paying attention to Sumi, Kursk, these regions. And the Ukrainians, of course, knew it. And let's say, as a sort of desperate gamble, okay, let's go where it's not police and the Russians are not paying attention. So if this was better organized, it could have been a major, major upset. But it was not. Even though they sacrificed some of their best commanders and brigades for this mini invasion, let's put it this way.
Is there pressure on President Putin from those to the right of him, the more pronounced nationalists, to respond with a very heavy fist?
Yes, there is. And the very heavy fist is that the whole region now is part of it's directly involved and subject to a counter-terrorist operation. Thus, the take no prisoners subtext.
Right.
They're going to kill everybody in sight, especially because Ukrainian prisoners of war, the past 2 days, especially, they were saying that they had orders to kill or at least shoot civilian in their legs. So this was an anti-Russian civilian operation, and this has enraged Russian public opinion like there's no tomorrow. So everyone expects really a hardcore take no prisoners up, let's say to let's have an ending in the next 10 days or so max.
Wow. Here's President Putin late last week. No, I'm sorry. Here's President Putin yesterday on, forget it. After this, no more peace talks. Cut number 7.
It seems obvious right now why